Okay, good morning everyone, and thank you for coming. My name is Sheldon Askew, spelled S-H-E-L-D-O-N. Last name is A-S-K-E-W, and I'm a lieutenant with the Austin Police Department's Homicide and Aggravated Assault Unit. I want to start this morning's conference by recognizing the tragic events that have brought us together. The death of the victim in this case is obviously very tragic, and the police department offers its condolences to all those that were affected. Last month in October, the police department recognized Domestic Violence Prevention Month. We said then, and we'll say it again, one domestic violent event is too many, and that's exactly what this was. We ask the public that if they are the victim of family violence or domestic violence, to contact the police department, either through 911 or 311, or contact victim services for assistance. If you don't feel comfortable contacting us, please contact a family member and remove yourself from that situation. As of today, there are 13 of the 63 homicides that have occurred are domestic violence related. As I've done in the past, I want to recognize the homicide unit for its professionalism and dedication in working and solving this particular case. I also want to recognize the patrol officers, the risk unit at the police department, the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force, and victim services for their support in this particular case. And with that, I'll hand it over to Detective Pena.
All right, good morning. I'm Detective Israel Pena with the Austin Police Department Homicide Unit. That's I-S-R-A-E-L for the first name and Pena, P-I-N-A, for the last name. I'm the lead detective assigned to homicide number 2463. That's the 63rd murder we've had in Austin for the year 2024. And it's documented under Austin Police Department case number 24-323-0728. I'm kind of supported today by some other detectives involved. Detective Erica Valenzuela she was my number 2 on this case, and Detective Adam Curvin with the APD Tactical Intel Unit, U.S. Marshals Service. This incident occurred at 6922 Bryn Mawr Drive. The basics of the case is Austin Police Department received a 911 call asking for a check welfare at this residence for a female who has not been heard from, family member who had not been heard from in over a week. A neighbor had approached the residence and detected an odor consistent with decomposition and fly activity or insect activity in the windows of the residence. As officers were responding to this call, another family member had driven up who lived locally, had entered the home and located the deceased female inside a downstairs closet, and she was also, on top of her was a deceased dog. At that point, the call kind of got upgraded response. APD officers arrived, confirmed that the female was inside the closet, and the homicide response or unit was contacted. Upon contact, we dispatched Detective Ricky Spittler from our unit to go and confirm some of the things that the patrol officers were reporting and provide immediate on-scene investigation. He relayed the information back to me and to the office and the rest of my team, and the homicide investigation had begun. The search warrants were drafted for the search of the residence, and once we were able to get in there, we began noticing additional evidence of disturbance that occurred throughout the home, and an unnatural position of the decedent in the closet, kind of confirming our beliefs that this was actually a homicide and not some type of natural death. While processing the scene, we were in contact with neighbors who provided us valuable information that allowed us to gain pretty good traction on the case, and family members who were in constant contact with us and present at the scene. Using that information, we were quickly able to identify a roommate that was also a resident of the home, identified as Jack Moore, 5'10" of 1940. Mr. Moore's whereabouts at that time are unknown. and he was unaccounted for. Attempted contacts to his phone numbers went to voicemail, and we were not able to speak with him. As the investigation progressed, certain evidence items were seized from the home, and using those evidence items, cell phones, things like that, and information from the family, we learned that there was fraudulent credit card activity on the decedent's credit card accounts, multiple credit card accounts throughout the city. Using that information, Detective Valenzuela was dispatched to one of those locations where she was able to obtain financial transaction records that occurred at the business, as well as video. And upon review of that video, Mr. Jack Moore was seen using those credit cards, making those purchases for various items. Some of those items, the majority of those items included gift cards for the purchases, multiple gift cards at multiple locations. It was reported, and through that information that we received, that Mr. Moore had made several trips to several predictable businesses over the course of the past few days, and surveillance was set up on one of those businesses. And during our investigation, as we were processing information, we received intelligence that Mr. Moore was actually at one of those locations, and we conducted follow-off surveillance and followed him to a different residence in the city. Mr. Moore was shown to have an outstanding active warrant for his arrest, and we acted upon that warrant once we could locate where he was staying. The Tactical Intel Unit, U.S. Marshal Service, placed him into custody for that warrant and transported him to Austin Police Headquarters for interview. During the interview, Mr. Moore was able to provide very, very specific details as to what occurred in the residence, resulting in a full confession. We believe at this time that we 100% have the right person based off that confession. Mr. Moore was able to provide details that about evidence collected inside the residence that were not released to the public, not released to the media, and were not put in any search warrant affidavits. Upon completion of the confession and the interview, Mr. Moore was transported to Travis County Jail, where he was booked in for his warrant and for the new charge of murder, first degree. I'm not going to get too much into the details of the murder, but what I will say is that it was a very, very brutal attack that occurred in that home. Evidence suggests a very brutal attack, and that not only applies to our female decedent, identified as Linda Jean Milsna, but also to the dog, the animal that was in there as well. That's all I have for this. Any other questions at all?
Yeah, how did they become roommates? I mean, what was that relationship?
Mr. Moore was a mutual friend of one of Ms. Milsna's sons, who was also a resident at 6922 Bryn Mawr. He moved away about a month and a half ago, and Mr. Moore stayed on as kind of a roommate, supposed to be paying rent as a roommate.
So they had a history.
Yes, he had lived in that residence for a while.
And was there a history of domestic violence before this murder?
None reported by the family. No responses to that residence about any domestic violence at all.
Was the person that moved away also living at that same location?
He was for a while, but he moved away about a month and a half ago. It's the stepson of the decedent, and we were able to confirm pretty quickly his presence at the time of the crime.
What was the actual active warrant that he was arrested for, please?
It was a parole violation for carjacking.
When did that occur, do you know?
I do not know.
Did he have a long criminal history?
He has a good bit. I know he did some prison time, and it came up in the interview. He admitted to some bank robberies. I don't know exactly how many, but he did have a criminal record, yes.
Because, I mean, this is something kind of disturbing, like you have a roommate and then something like this happens.
Right.
Isn't it unusual?
It is, and especially for this age, but I mean, it kind of highlights, we shouldn't underestimate anyone. right? He's 84 years old. The likelihood of this occurring again is pretty slim, but you just can't predict who's dangerous and who's not, right? And it is disturbing that you never know when you have someone living with you who you're actually bringing in, unless you thoroughly vet them or you've known them your entire life.
Did he say what his motive was?
Mr. Moore had mentioned that he felt like Miss Milsna was potentially going to be moved out of that home by her family, and that he wanted her to die there because she had husbands that had passed away in that residence from natural causes, and he wanted her to die there. And then when it came to the dog, I asked him about that. He said that he wanted the dog to be with her as well.
And then just use her credit cards.
Yes. So we believe that the credit cards were an attempt to amass some type of financial means. He admitted to us that he was attempting, or more likely going to flee yesterday, the day after we had arrested him, try and flee the country.
So you personally interviewed him. What was his demeanor like?
Kind of flat affect, not our typical presentation for interviews, for sure.
Last question.
Is there anything else on this case? Because they wanted me to ask about another case too. Can I do that?
I'm not really prepared to answer any questions on any other cases right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.